Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Has been in. 1.4 to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field. Back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
We are going to do that in droves today. That's kind of what we do on Duck Insider. It is, after all, Duck Insider. You know, we're going to take you inside everything that's happening with the Ducks. And maybe the biggest news of the day is a lot of hoops in the postseason. Oregon women's basketball in the WNIT tonight. The Ducks will be taking on Rice. Oregon and Rice tonight in the WNIT. Terry Johns and Bev Smith on the pregame show starting at 5:30. They will also have the call for you on the Oregon live stream. Now, on Tuesday, Oregon men's basketball is hosting Wisconsin in the NIT. The Ducks got the victory yesterday, quicker turnaround against Wisconsin, a team that Oregon always matches up with in the postseason. 14, 15, and 19. These teams played in the NCAA tournament, now playing in the NIT, the quarterfinals of the NIT. So back-to-back 6 o'clock tip-offs for postseason basketball tonight and tomorrow. We'll, of course, have the broadcast on the Oregon Sports Network. ESPN's got the televised broadcast for Tuesday's game as well. Spring practice is officially underway. Thursday and Saturday. Dan Lanning met with the media each day. You're going to hear both of those conversations with the media coming up here momentarily. Oregon baseball with a nice come-from-behind win in the series against the Cougars. We'll tell you about that. Oregon softball with I don't even know the right word to describe it, series against Stanford. Close, gritty, a bit heartbreaking. What else? Tightly contested is what Ryan Milano says. He was on the call all weekend for KWVA, so he would know these things. Also, women's basketball getting ready tonight, and I should mention that we have a number of other Oregon sports that we're going to cover on the show today. But a lot of interviews to get to, so let's do that. Spring practice officially underway. What do you want to know from spring practice? Well, Dan Lanning's going to tell you. First, we'll hear what he had to say after the first practice of the spring on Thursday. Dan Lanning.
Really good day one. I haven't been around a lot of spring practices that weren't good day one. Everybody has juice and energy, a lot of enthusiasm. Thought the practice was well organized. Guys were running to the right locations, and with a lot of new bodies, you hope that's the expectation. Guys playing hard, but we don't really have pads on either. So this is not it's not real football yet in my mind. But guys are definitely trending in the right direction. See some new guys stepping up to be leaders, which is a positive, and really excited about the direction we're headed.
What are the biggest things you want to see addressed then, particularly after break when it is real football? What are the big questions you want answered here the next 6 weeks?
I'm not really there yet. Ultimately, you want to figure out what the strengths of your team are, and then you want to make sure that you're doing a good job as a coach laying on those strengths. But we want to play with maximum effort, make sure we have a good understanding of what we're doing fundamentally, what our scheme is, and how we fit within that scheme. But we're really not even past break right now. Today, I'm focused on today.
What's the biggest thing you learned? Any of those leaders that are jumping out?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard to mention one or two, but a guy that really stands out to me going into year two is Josh Connerly. This guy's working his tail off in everything that he absolutely does. The way he stretches, just the way he approaches everything, his mentality in the classroom as well. Jamal Hill is a guy on defense that's really stepped up and has shifted and been in different locations, but really showed some maturity there. Jeff Bossa, Bo. I mean, I think there's several guys, and I'm probably definitely remiss not naming some of those.
What's the biggest thing you learned from your first go around at spring camp?
We take pretty meticulous notes, so we just try not to make the same mistakes twice. If we thought last year, day one, we wanted to start on this yard line for a certain drill and we want to be really on the 15, we saw that note and we made sure this year we started the drill on the 15. Just having some of these walkthroughs that lead up to spring ball, we're able to go through some situations before we actually get to spring ball so we can make sure it's really detailed and clean with speed on the field. I took a lot of notes today of stuff that we can still do better, so that's what we'll attack next practice.
What are those?
More than I can share. I think the way we coach things, the way that we drill things. I mean, there's a lot of pieces, making sure we're repping guys in the right area. The one thing you'll notice about practice this year that's different than practice last year is we have a lot more two-spot drills, right? So rather than getting 11 better or 22 better, right, we're able to get 44 better or 88 better because you're doing it on two fields. And we're getting a lot of guys that can get a lot of reps. When you're practicing on one field, you got 11 guys going versus 11, you're only getting 22 guys on the team better, right? You go ones and twos, which we don't really have a depth chart right now, or now you're getting a few more, right, but you're not getting as many when you can go two-spot with our drills. So being able to do that's a big piece for us this spring.
Given the number of new faces, I guess, is that even more important to just get as many reps as possible?
Yeah, it's extremely critical. I mean, every rep is a game rep, right? And it doesn't matter if it's a walkthrough rep, it's a game rep. It's an opportunity to learn, make mistakes, learn from somebody else's mistakes. So we want to get as many reps as we can for newcomers and everybody else.
You always have churn on the analyst roster. You did this offseason, but you had Mike Cavanaugh has been around a long time. You had a friend, Brian, and Antonio. What do those three guys add to the staff in their capacities?
Yeah, really excited about all that. One thing I'll say, when you have turnover from an analyst standpoint and guys move on for full-time positions, that's something I get really excited for, right? You want to be a place where we're not reaching just my goals and aspirations, we're reaching everybody in the organization's goals and aspirations. I think this place has proven to be a place where coaches can grow, develop, and then earn opportunities down the road. But when we do that, we don't look to stay the same. We say, okay, how can we get better? You talk about a guy like Mike Cavanaugh and his experience in this league, really his experience overall as a coach. I mean, that's invaluable to us. And our chemistry right now as a staff is really, really important. Brian's obviously a guy that I've worked with in a lot of different stops. This is our fourth stop together. I'm very familiar with him and the way he operates, understands it. And Antonio, I think, is an up-and-coming riser that Will obviously had a lot of familiarity with. It's going to be able to come here and add a lot of pieces really to our organization with his energy and enthusiasm and his relationship to just finishing up as a player.
You still have a couple openings on the analyst staff?
We're always going to look to enhance. We got a couple pieces that we can still add.
When you're, I guess, breaking down practice film from today, these 26 newcomers, whatever it is, what are the things you're looking at maybe first and kind of assessing their progress?
Yeah, are we playing fast, right? Do they understand what we're trying to accomplish? Because I think you want to see what guys can play football. We're not out here trying to out-scheme each other right now. It's not about, who can draw up the best play. It's about seeing who can play football. So what we're trying to assess right now is, okay, who's a good football player? Do we have them in the right position? And if it's a blinking light, if they're going slow, well, how do we speed that up? How can we make that easier on them?
How important is it for you guys to get recruits out here to see you guys practice and see you guys outside of just a game situation or the spring game?
Yeah, our best pitch in recruiting is when people come and watch that practice and they see the way we work, they see how we develop talent, and they see how much our guys enjoy practice. So it's really important for us to take advantage of this beautiful place, get people here where they can experience it firsthand and see it for themselves.
I know it's a little early, but how have you seen some of the freshmen and the transfers, newcomers, how have you seen them build chemistry with their new teammates?
Well, it starts every Wednesday night for us. It starts with our get reels. It starts with those sessions outside. The other day we went and ate breakfast together as a team, and we put our cell phones in the middle of the table, and if you pick it up, you got to pay the bill, right? And so those guys are spending time talking to each other. You got to get around and try to create as much connection as possible away from just the football field, and then in those moments, it's going to make you stronger on the field.
Did Mikhail Epe say medically retire, or just leave the program?
No, he medical.
A year ago, Bo was really locked in a quarterback competition with Ty. Things are different this year. How has that kind of freed him up, do you think, and kind of allowed him to focus on some other things in his game?
Well, I think competition breeds excellence, and I think right now Bo and Ty would both tell you that they're out there competing every single day. Certainly having another year in our system and how we operate has made both those guys a lot more comfortable, but I'm really happy with how they're both performing and how they performed today.
Is the plan to be careful at all with reps given the injury history, or is he going to get a full load this spring?
You got to do a combination of both as a coach. You got to be smart, but the only way you get better at playing football is playing football. Right, so you don't go out there and not practice to get better, right? So we have to be conscientious of our reps. We're like that with every single position, but that's where we lean on our medical staff and people that are in this organization to point us in the right direction.
Now that the majority team kind of knows what to expect from spring practice, so you feel like you're a little bit more ahead than you were last year, knowing that these players have a little bit of leadership experience, they know what to expect, and they can bring that leadership into this spring?
Yeah, certainly there's a familiarity. I think the challenge for us, we did our group period drill today, is scheduled to be 10 minutes, and we got it done in 8. So you enjoy the efficiencies, but now I'm sitting here saying to myself, all right, what can we do with those other 2 minutes? Right, let's push the envelope, let's grow a little bit more, script a couple more plays, create something else where we can steal that. So our guys are operating at a high level from an organizational standpoint. Now we want to be able to push the envelope, and what else we're going to add and how we get better. We don't want to stay the same.
Yeah, how different are the expectations Saturday, if at all?
From today's practice, or I expect us to be consistent, right? We don't want to be one-hit wonders. We talked about that today, right? We're trying to be consistent. So in our approach, we're not coming out here trying to have one-hit song. We're trying to make sure we put 2 in stacked days, one day on top of the other.
Have you said when the 15th practice will be, if that's a corrected practice after the spring game? Or
Yeah, it'll be a Monday right after the spring game.
There's all this discussion here the last 3-4 months about the media deal and what's going to happen with the conference and what's best for Oregon. What have your conversations been like with Rob in terms of, from your perspective, of what you want to see happen here?
Yeah, I'm concerned about coaching the football team. Oregon's obviously a great product. I think you look at this conference, you see a lot of great football teams right now playing at an elite level. I'm excited to go play this year's game. I'm really not worried about the next piece. That's not my job.
After, kind of finishing the bowl game, how excited are you just to get back finally hands-on, like being able to coach the players after seeing them kind of grow these first couple weeks of spring? Specifically on the strength and conditioning side, what were you most excited to kind of come back and accomplish in this first practice?
Well, you see some guys change their body. You see some guys work really hard to get healthy. I mean, what do I love about football is this. I enjoy practice. I enjoy coaching. I enjoy game day. So this is certainly my favorite part of the season outside of football season. So just getting to get out there on the grass and run around and see the fruits of your labor, see all the hard work you put in the weight room and off-season carry over to the practice field is really important.
Early impressions of Austin Novosad and kind of how he's soaking up information from Ty and Bo and people around him?
Well, I think he's really smart. I think that shows in the way he attacks each day and plays. I know he wants a couple plays back today, and I know he's going to be a guy that cares enough that he's going to learn from it. So excited about his progress. He throws a tight spiral, does a good job with the ball, but he needs to deliver it in the right location a few more times.
And it stands to reason, Dan, but how urgent in particular is it to identify pass rush and multiple rushes, not just, okay, you bring in a Jordan who's an established guy somewhere else, but to really have multiple answers at that position when it was such an issue last season?
I think we got to look to develop across our roster. I think we did that a lot in recruiting. I think that'll show up pretty quickly for us, but time will tell.
You mentioned Voss earlier. What are kind of your hopes and expectations for him this year as he takes that next step?
Yeah, I think he's attacked a lot of things. We had a nutrition plan going for the offseason for him. I think he's done a really good job of being diligent and focused on that. Year 2 in this defense is so different than year 1. And just being a leg ahead, understanding, I expect him not just to coach himself, but to start coaching some guys around him. You start to see that show up.
Was there hope for him to get bigger during the offseason?
Yeah.
You mentioned Jamal could be a guy on the move as linebacker, something for him possibly?
Yeah, I think position versatility for all our guys. I think everybody here knows that we want to try guys at multiple positions. If we can be our best team with Jamal at linebacker, we're going to work Jamal at that position. If we think we need him at quarterback, we'll move him to quarterback. I'm not going to really give out trade secrets, but wherever we can put guys in positions where they can help the team, that's what we're going to look to do.
Similar with Mel's, it looked like back in February that he was working with the O-line, getting some work there at least.
We're going to work guys at multiple positions.
Last question. Early impressions of Will, Chris, and Alik, and maybe how they handled their group the last little bit here coming into practice?
Yeah, really well. I mean, I think we have the structure in place, the organization in place where these guys were able to come in, and they're great coaches. We were able to go hire elite coaches. We had some great guys here, and we replaced them with great guys that all bring phenomenal talents. But these guys are veterans, understand how to coach. I know Alik's on the younger side, but he has a wealth of experience and is familiar with this place. What these guys are going to be able to do to develop, and then with some guys that we were able to bring in support staff roles, I think we've done a really good job of being all hands on deck right now.
Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach. So that was after Thursday's practice. Now, with the postseason basketball schedule, this is our first show since spring practice got rolling. So you get a double dose of Dan Lanning when we come back. Part 2 of Coach Lanning breaking down the first 2 practices, because he also talked with us all on Saturday. Basketball in the postseason, a Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week honor coming up as well. Duck Insider continues on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Ready for our little forest adventure?
Yes! So much waiting for me. Yeah, I wanna go outside. I wanna be.
We're here.
Whoa, that was fast.
There's a forest closer than you think. Find a park or forest near you and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by USDA Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider is presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Women's basketball in the NIT tonight, 5:30 pregame show, 6 o'clock at Matthew Knight Arena. Men's basketball in the NIT tomorrow against Wisconsin, 5:30 pregame show, 6 o'clock tip-off at Matthew Knight Arena. Postseason basketball. Matt Dallas is the Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week. Congratulations to Matt Dallas. More on that coming up after Oregon baseball's roller coaster of a weekend on the Palouse. We'll talk about that still on the horizon. It is finals week, by the way, at the University of Oregon, so that's why you don't see a lot of events going on apart from the postseason basketball this week. But it does give us a little bit of breathing room on Duck Insider to talk about things like Tobiah mentions, like Nate Biddle. Back-to-back career highs in points for Nate Biddle. More of that coming up. But spring football, of course, that's on everybody's mind. April 29th is the spring game. Tickets are available. You get your season tickets now. They're going to be cheaper. Trust me. Spring football practice is always so interesting to me because I see one comment coming in on YouTube, for example. How is Birch fitting in? Well, the Ducks didn't have full pads on. So all these newcomers, I'm always looking like, okay, where's my roster? Seriously, like I do that during practices. Like I'll be looking, and I think when they have their helmets on, like it's like, okay, I think I know. All right, double check. After 2 days, it's hard to tell. I think we'll know a lot more at like practice 7 when the Ducks have been in pads. They come back from their break. I know a lot of people were wondering, why do the Ducks do it this way, where they practice twice, then they have finals week and spring break, then they come back and continue practicing? One of the subjects that Dan Lanning addressed when he met with the media on Saturday. Part 2 of our Dan Lanning spring football series on Duck Insider. Here's Coach Lanning.
You really want to push guys' bodies, and you saw that. You see how guys respond to fatigue. It was a good day. It was a good day of work. Guys worked really hard, and it was certainly a positive.
A year ago, the interior defensive line, you had 3 guys who were hurt with shoulder injuries, multiple guys who hadn't transferred in yet. It was just a really thin group. How different is this spring already, and how different will it be the next several weeks where it's just very different position to be in to develop those guys this year compared to last year.
Yeah, I mean, really similar to what I said last practice. We're able to do 2-spot practices now. We're able to have basically practices on 2 fields, get a lot of guys reps and ready, and that's what it takes. You got to get better at football, you got to play football. So having guys out there that can rotate, where it's not just about conditioning, but it's about technique, that's starting to show up.
What do you stress to these guys the most over the next 2 weeks to kind of stay in that shape and stay in that mindset?
Yeah, you got to be disciplined, right? You got to be great decision makers. Have a sound mind in what you're doing and how you're attacking it. We have a plan for these guys over the next 2 weeks. They have to execute the plan, right? It's where ownership takes place.
Are there any 1 or 2 newcomers that made any strides from day 1 to day 2 in your mind?
I'll have to watch the tape and see. Certainly there's some guys working out hard there, but I don't know if I could pick anybody out.
Dan, how do you feel the group of early enrollees is adjusting to the college atmosphere?
Yeah, I think they're handling it really well. I think we got a great transition team, too, when it goes with the prep, with school and football. We got a great group of coaches. We have a detailed plan with what we do, so those guys have handled it well.
Are you expecting more of your enrollees to come in when you guys regroup?
Yeah, we'll see a few more. I don't have an exact number, but we'll see a few more guys come back after spring break when the next term starts.
And you have a couple of guys in
the new norm, or just I think you have over 25 new guys right now.
It's probably the new norm in college football, right? I think it's probably the new norm in college football. There's going to continue to be change, and some guys will come, some guys will go, but we're always going to do everything we can to enhance our program.
But getting in this early, is that?
Yeah, you want guys here as fast as you can. That's not always going to happen. There's some guys that we'd love that we could have here early, but the more you can get here early, it's like having an additional redshirt year for guys that are brand new.
For Junior and Justin, who are coming off injuries last year, just how limited are they at the start of spring? Are they full go? Or
yeah, Junior's limited. Justin's been able to do really everything with us come spring ball.
At Pro Day, Bennett said that he thought that Evan would come in here and have kind of a leadership role, even though he's coming into a new guy on the team. How do you think he's kind of stepped into that so far?
Been really pleased with what he's looked like so far. I don't think he's been extremely boisterous, but his actions have spoke really loud. His preparedness when he gets on the field, guys willing to ask questions, and then ultimately he runs really hard to the ball. That solves a lot of problems.
Talk about Jeffrey Bossa becoming more of a teacher. Is there anyone else who transitioned from a learning perspective last year now to becoming more of a teacher?
Yeah, I think there's several guys. I don't know that I could pick just one out, but yeah, there's a bunch of guys that have done a really good job there.
In the off-season assessment, and particularly back in January, Dan, just what you and Joe come up with by way of areas to address on special teams, not just at any one position, but particularly all the coverage teams, all the return teams. What were some of those areas that you're trying to fix up?
You said it, coverage team area. Location of the kick's a big piece that's going to help you in every return unit. Or in every kick unit. Right? If you kick the ball in the right location, it's going to help your coverage teams out on kickoff and on punt. We got to get better in both those areas, but we can also get better at the units as far as the bodies that we're putting on there to have success to tackle the runner. So I think there's, really all phases, right? It's all been assessed, drilling it a little bit differently at times as well, but making sure more than anything we get guys in the right position to execute the job.
You said after the last practice that you were looking for guys that can play football. Specifically, when you're looking at that, what certain things are you looking for from the players to determine whether they can play football and really develop into this scheme that you guys want to get to by the end of spring?
Yeah, more than it's different by each position, right? Obviously, if you're a defensive guy, you got to be able to get guys on the ground, which means you have to put your body in position to where you can get guys on the ground. If you're an offensive guy, you got to be able to catch the ball, right? You got to be able to control the ball, cover up guys as a blocker, hand placement, footwork. But really, more than anything, across the board, it's how you play with relentless effort. Right? If you can't play fast, you can't play football.
And Hunter specifically, when that was such an issue last season, when you bring in a guy like Luke, what does he have to show in these 15 practices to where you can leave spring feeling confident that job's kind of solidified?
Yeah, consistency, and then it's different when you start to see some pressure too, right? It's easier to kick on air than it is to kick when somebody's running in your face, and we have to create some of those moments.
What's the challenge of recruiting? Sorry. What's the challenge of recruiting someone like Luke when he's halfway across the world and building those relationships?
Well, that's the real challenge, right? They're halfway across the world. You got to do it through the phone, and you don't necessarily get to see them, and they don't necessarily get to see you. So there's some trust on both ends.
What's the strategy of having 2 practices and then waiting a couple weeks? Why not just do it all in April? What's the thought process?
Yeah, for us, it's about spacing, right? You like to go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for practices. We don't want to go into May because we have a recruiting window in May that we want to be able to get our coaches out in May. And then, truly it kind of gives a build up. I think it makes our players think about this a little bit on spring break rather than rolling in. We did a lot of walkthroughs going in. But yeah, just more than anything, it's timing with where the recruiting windows fall.
Dan, what's your philosophy on players who are currently committed to Oregon taking visits to other schools? Do you encourage that? Do you want these guys to get out and see all the places they can, or what's your philosophy there?
Yeah, there's a lot of, I think each situation is different. Certainly we love having committed players be committed to us and not take trips other places, but they need to know where they're going when it's all said and done, and they have to have a great feel for that. It's our job to continue to recruit them to be here. Like I said, I think I've said before, I probably wasn't my wife's first choice, but over time I won her over. We had to do the same thing when it comes to recruiting, right? And just continue to keep doing that same thing.
With a team that has so many newcomers, but also a lot of veterans that have been in the game long, that have been under this kind of system, mixed with the new staff members, just how do you see everyone kind of coming together, working together in order to build a good foundation with these first spring practices?
Yeah, it's a process. It's over time. We're not there yet. Right, but we have time to get there, and that's the benefit. Practices that are hard, that gets us there, right? You got to share some hard moments, and then spend time together outside of football.
Will the coaching staff be taking any staff trips or visiting with any staffs these next couple of weeks?
We'll be doing some professional development, more in-house than anything, some Zooms and things like that, but mostly here.
And you've got your coaches clinic right after break and
in April,
Saturday,
yeah.
With Staley and Moore and Tasha's former DC there with Jacksonville coming in. So just what are you hoping to get out of it? Obviously, yes, you have coaches here, etc. But when you have big name guys from the NFL in particular, what are you hoping that weekend provides?
The name doesn't necessarily change anything for us. We just want to have an opportunity for us to learn ball as a coaching staff, and some coaches to be able to come in and absorb some stuff from us, and as well as the great coaches that we have coming to speak.
Do you have any early impressions of Grant Meadors and how he's come in and kind of learned under the wing of Camden Lewis?
He actually got a little bit of a tweak, so he hasn't been able to full go kick here recently in winter conditioning, so time will tell. Not there yet.
There's an interesting piece of legislation in the State House that would hold you responsible potentially for the actions of 50,000 people at Autzen Stadium. How would you feel about that if you got suspended for the words of one of 50,000 people?
Let's tell them to be behaved. I guess you guys can help me out there. Control what you can control, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, and I'm sure that it's going to continue to come up, but I like that answer from Coach Lanning. We can help him out with that. Good sportsmanship in the stands, right? Always what we're after. That's Dan Lanning. It's brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. When we come back, spring football, of course, there are your updates, but a lot of postseason hoops to tell you about. Diamond Sports, a lot going on today. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Now's the time to imagine yourself in a new Toyota, like Tundra. Go for a spin, enjoy some off-roading, or build your kids that treehouse you promised them. Hey, they deserve it.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends April 4th.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Now's the time to imagine yourself in a new Toyota, like Tundra. Go for a spin, enjoy some off-roading, or build your kids that treehouse you promised them. Hey, they deserve it.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends April 4th.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container, because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon women's basketball tonight in the WNIT 5:30 pregame with Terry Johns and Bev Smith. I've had a number of fans ask me, and some asked Terry, about when you're listening to the radio broadcast, for example, if you're in one of our venues, be it PK Park, Matthew Knight Arena, Autzen Stadium, wherever you are, Jane Sanders Stadium if you're listening to Ryan on KWVA. Why sometimes there's a delay? Well, I did want to spend a little bit of time telling you about that today, and I've responded to as many of you as I can. Essentially, what's happening is when we have multiple broadcasts going on at the same time, one of them goes up on our satellite feed, and that leads to a broadcast that doesn't have as much of a delay. As a result, though, of our affiliate network having one satellite connection, then if there's a second station, say you're listening on 95.3 The Score in Eugene for women's basketball, when baseball's also going on KUGN 98.1 FM and 590 AM, thanks to our friends at Cumulus here in the Eugene area, what'll happen is the way that our broadcast gets to your ears, there's actually an internet encoding that takes place. It's not like a direct connection via a phone line, if that is making any sense to you at all. I'm looking at Scott because he admits all the time that he knows nothing about this, and he's looking at me like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, okay, good. Ryan, did that make sense? Okay, Ryan track. Good. So the point is that when we have simultaneous broadcasts, it can lead to a longer delay. We're working on it, is my update for you. But I do appreciate the fans that have told me about that, because I don't know how many of you are listening when you're at the games, but this helps me. So thank you to those of you who have done that. Thank you for doing that, for sure. And then Tobiah, yes, there was a different issue on the last women's basketball broadcast. We actually had a piece of equipment fail during the video live stream. Radio broadcast was unaffected. Terry's broadcast was actually getting to the control room, but we had a piece of equipment fail that prevented it from getting to the actual live stream. There was a lot of moving parts for the Quack Video crew, and they did get it sorted, but I appreciate fans for bearing with us for some of those issues. Meanwhile, for men's basketball, now they get ready to play Wisconsin tomorrow. I will be honest with you, everybody. I had a lot going on this morning. I have not looked at Wisconsin at all. I know that Wisconsin is from the Big Ten. I know that the Ducks have played Wisconsin 3 times in the postseason since 2014, all in the NCAA tournament. I know the last time the two teams played, it was in 2019, and it went well for the Ducks in San Jose as the 12th seed. And I also know, thanks to our friend Matt Preem, that this is an absolutely wild stat from our buddy Matt Preem. Wisconsin's coming to Eugene tomorrow. It will be just the 4th time since the 99 to 2000 season that the Ducks have hosted a Big Ten team in Eugene on their home floor. That was wild. I didn't know that. Oregon is 3-0 in those games, according to Matt. Beat Minnesota twice at Matt Court, and then beat Iowa in Matthew Knight Arena. How about that? I did not know that. So, Matt, thanks for the research, buddy. Back-to-back games with career high in points for Nate Biddle. Make it 3 in a row against Wisconsin, huh? But, yeah, I know that Wisconsin is from the Big Ten. I know that their mascot is the Badger. And they're in the NIT this year. They were the 2 seed in the bracket that the Ducks were also in. That's afternoon Joey's assignment, is to get caught up on Wisconsin. The coaches did it overnight. I bet you none of the basketball coaches slept last night. They probably got the team ready for their workout today, and then shoot around tomorrow, and then next thing you know, Wisconsin. Yeah. That's all I know. It was a nice day against UCF, though, wasn't it? The Ducks coming off that nice win over UC Irvine with career highs from Nate Biddle, Tyrone Williams, and Rivaldo Soares. A double-double from Williams and Soares both in that game. And then Nate Biddle followed it up with a really impressive performance against a UCF team that has probably a first-round draft pick on their roster. Taylor Hendricks is that good. Keyshawn Bartholomew scored 9. Soares scored 8, but Quincy Guerrier scored 16, hit 3 big threes to maintain a double-digit lead for the Ducks. Second half turnovers, there were too many. Ducks are going to have to work on that. Their press offense has been a problem really all season long. But Nate Biddle scoring 21, a double-double with 13 points. You got to be impressed with guys taking the opportunity in the NIT and running with it, because no Dante, no Richardson, no Kusnard. and yet the Ducks got a big win in back-to-back games. Quick timeout. When we come back, Dana Altman, Nate Biddle, Khalil Ware, all talking with the media. Quicker timeout because I couldn't fill an entire segment with my Wisconsin knowledge on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
To your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Rick Ferguson says tomorrow night it's over for the Ducks. Rick, do you know something about Wisconsin that I don't? It's likely. It's likely. But I'm just asking the question as we welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union in the Country Financial Studio. Let's hear from Dana Altman. Always brought to you by the William Valley Cancer Institute Research Center. Anytime we hear from a Duck, exceptional cancer care close to home. Duck head coach, that is. Dana Altman, after the victory yesterday, getting ready for Wisconsin tomorrow at 6 o'clock at Matthew Knight Arena. Televised on ESPN. Here's Dana Altman.
Darn turnovers took all the fun out of it. Jeez. Turned it over 100 times there, but they do turn people over a lot. You saw their athleticism there, but we didn't execute anything, dribble right to the corners, just weren't very disciplined.
Nate was the one who had said, hey, this tournament is a chance to set a foundation. And how much is he kind of walking the walk after talking the talk?
I thought his rebounding early really set a tone for us. I thought he really went after boards, and, the points are great, but 13 rebounds, I thought, 25 minutes is kind of his high for the year, and I thought he did a really good job.
Defensively, man, this is now back-to-back games, holding teams to basically 30%. Right? With a short rotation and without not just some of your better offensive players, some of your better defenders.
Waldo's done a really good job. Quincy, I thought, really took the challenge tonight. Taylor Hendricks is really good player. There were NBA people here to see him. Leading rebounder for their team, leading scorer. He had one field goal at half. I like Quincy really took the challenge and did a tremendous job. We made some mistakes on Kelly, and he got to the rim a couple times, but took him a lot of shots to get his points. So, I thought our energy, our effort, this was a really good three-point shooting team. And, I watched them play Memphis who's really athletic and, played Houston tough. They've played some really athletic teams, so I was very concerned about their athleticism, but, our guys really flew around and showed a lot of effort. I thought the end of the first half, us hitting a couple buckets there and getting the lead, really gave us a boost. Quincy hitting the 3 there just kind of got our heads up, and because we hadn't hit many shots, and I think we scored 6 or 7 there to end the half, and kind of got our heads up a little bit.
You relied on Will so much early in the season. Keyshawn seems to be filling that role now. Just how important is the minutes he's giving you on the ball?
No, he's done a really good job. 8 assists, and his turnovers all came late. But no, I thought he did a good job, and I thought defensively he did better than he's been doing. He's had some up and down games defensively. I mean, there's been some games where I've been really pleased and watched the film, and he's really locked in defensively. And then there's been other games where maybe his shot doesn't go or something, and he just loses his focus. But I thought he was really locked in defensively and did a pretty good job.
Speaking of shots going, this was a game where the threes weren't necessarily dropping for you that consistently. You still were able to produce offense, build a lead, and sustain it for the most part.
Yeah, no, we were 1 for 9. We rushed some early, and took some that, I think in the first half, if my math was right, we were 11 for 16 in the paint. I kept, throw it in there a little bit, inside out. They were doubling, they were scrambling a lot, but we should have thrown it in there more. And Nate was playing well. Khalil, like I said, between the two of them, we got 32 points. And 1 was a 3. The rest of them were, pretty close to the paint or free throws. So, I was a little disappointed. We could have thrown it in there a little bit more that first half. But again, I want the guys to be aggressive. We're looking for ways to score, and those guys did a pretty good job.
What's clicked for Nate? The last 2 games, he just looks like a different player than he's been over the year.
Well, I think part of it, is kind of like the Colorado game. He has responded. When Dante's been out, he's responded, and so it's good to see. Playing with a little confidence, a little air, that he kind of finished the season with. So no, I liked his effort. I thought he challenged shots inside, but again, I don't know how many rebounds he had at half, but I thought he set a tone both halves with his rebound. He had 6 the first half and 5 or 7 the second. So, did a great job on the boards.
See an example of why you want to play in these tournaments and get guys going for next season. You build that confidence up.
I want to play because that's why you get ready. You want to compete. We got a chance to. Central Florida's a good team. Irvine had beat us. Now we get a chance to play Wisconsin. And for the people who came today, I really appreciate it. I know it's not convenient to come on a 4:30 on a Sunday afternoon, and we're not where we want to be. I understand all that, but really appreciate those people who did come today. And, we got a chance to play Wisconsin, on Tuesday night at home. We don't get Big Ten teams to come out here very often, and so, it'll be great to have them here. I think we play at 6 on Tuesday, and so, I hope the students will respond, the people respond. I think we're in finals this week with the quarter system, but it'll be a big game for us. Looking forward. I hope the guys are looking forward to it.
Dan, you said you want to, play in this tournament. You want to still compete. Did you get a sense that the guys did as well coming into the week? I mean, even with the depleted lineup, there was probably a chance they could have been like, well, this is it for us. But did you get a sense otherwise?
No, I'd been really disappointed if they didn't. It's an opportunity to play. And granted, I've said it before, everybody wants to play in the NCAA tournament, but if you don't, it's an opportunity to play. Everybody wants to play in the national championship football, how many teams qualify. But there's other bowl games. You still got to compete. You still got an opportunity to play. And I'd have been really disappointed if our guys wouldn't have wanted to play and wanted to compete at a high level. I hope that's not who we are. You know, we want to compete, and the NIT has a proud tradition. I'm old, you know. NIT was a heck of a tournament. You know, we went to the Final Four when I was coaching at Kansas State. It was a great experience. Now they've moved it to Vegas. It's closer for us, but you know, I've played in the NIT a number of years. I've always had a great experience with my team, and you know, going to the Final Four. And that was in 1994. God, I hate to say that. It's almost 30 years ago, isn't it? But, you know, it was a great experience. And it'd be a great experience if we get that opportunity, you know, by beating Wisconsin. But it'll be a tough game. You know, they're a proud program. They got a lot of tradition. And so it'll be a tough game on Tuesday night. But, you know, our guys, we're used to the one-day get ready. That's our conference. So we'll watch a lot of film tomorrow and hopefully be ready to go.
Same status for Polly and Jermaine?
I don't know. You know, we just they've been coming in 2-3 times a day for treatment, and you know, hopefully, I was hoping maybe Wednesday, maybe give them another day, but it is Tuesday. If they can play, they will. If they can't, they can't.
What do you know about Wisconsin? Have you watched much of their games before today?
I watched part of their game this morning before our shoot around, but no, I don't know that much about them. You know, I've caught a few Big Ten games, you know, but they were early, so no. To answer your question, don't know much about them. Played them a few years ago, but haven't played them recently. So, but like I said, they do a great job. They always compete, and we know we'll have our hands full, no doubt.
Wisconsin's a good program. You heard Coach Altman talking all about it there. Let's hear a little bit from some of the guys post-game as well. You know, Nate Biddle had a career day. Kalel Ware has played better and better. Guys taking advantage of the opportunity. That's why you play in the NIT. Next game coming up, 6 o'clock against Wisconsin on Tuesday. Some of the players post-game, Nate Biddle and Kalel Ware yesterday.
The season that, you know, if threes were dropping for you guys, that kind of determined the flow offensively. But to have a night tonight when you didn't have to make a bunch of threes and still were able to generate some offense and generate some points in the paint, just for both you guys, what was it like to kind of, I don't know if that was the plan necessarily for sure going in, but to have that kind of be how things played out?
I mean, they didn't have anybody in the paint that could stop us. I think Coach said after the game that we just owned them in the paint, and that's where we got them. So we just did a good job, came out, executed our stuff in the paint, and Coach always talks about inside-out threes, and I think that's what we did tonight, and that's why we got some of the falls. So.
Yeah, he said it. They really couldn't guard us in the paint. All we had to do was just be physical, and once we got physical with them, they couldn't, you know, stop us down there. All it was just fouls and get to the free throw line after that.
Both of you guys, I mean, just young guys taking advantage of this tournament, taking advantage of minutes. Talk about just the mindset you've been bringing to these games and what you're going to try to carry forward Tuesday.
I don't think the mindset has changed from games compared to in season. It's just that I'm just happy that we're still playing. Like, I have a bunch of friends that play all over the country, and their seasons are coming to an end. I'm just happy that we still playing, honestly.
Yeah, it's the same with me. You know, some people I know their season already ended. I'm just happy to, you know, keep hooping and working on my craft in practice and in the game. So.
What's the next 36 hours like for you guys? It's a quick turnaround. Do you feel like league play kind of helps you with that, having the Thursday, Saturday traditional games?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the next 36 hours is going to look like recovery, get some shots up, nothing too crazy. Just get ready for the game on Tuesday, right? I think so. Just get ready for the game on Tuesday and just take it easy until then.
Yeah, definitely, you know, just get in the gym, get some shots up, especially from the free throw line. But, yeah, and recovery as well, take care of our bodies.
Yeah. It kind of goes without saying, but how bad did you want that one dunk? Because that would have been a
that would have been those. Yeah, I wanted that one bad.
Yeah, that one would have been crazy.
Pretty physical game. A lot of bodies hitting the floor. You two feeling okay?
I feel good. I could go hoop again right now.
Oh yeah, I could definitely run another game. Yeah.
We're the youngest guys on the team, so we ain't like them old heads. So, feel me?
Well, you've seen videos of the dunk that you had, the highlight videos. Has anyone reached out to you about that?
I haven't really looked at my phone yet, but when I do, I'm definitely go check out that video and see what it look like.
And I'm gonna repost it for him.
Even in this setting, is just evolved so much just over the last several weeks. I mean, does that reflect how things have been playing out for you in practice, in games? I mean, is that part of the whole package?
Not really. I mean, it's time and opportunity, I think, I've just been waiting for this opportunity, and now that we've been able to get me at the 5 a little bit more, I think I'm more comfortable there. But, I'm just happy to be playing, honestly. That's all I want. I just want to keep playing. I don't want my season to come to an end.
You got to bring energy every day. That's it.
Yeah.
Just energy.
Facts.
The old guys can't do that.
Like us.
You know that Nate heard about this from all the old heads. God. Nate. Oh, I can't wait to see him at practice today and just be like, yeah, that was well done. Men's basketball tomorrow. Women's basketball tonight. We're going to talk about them when we come back. Final break. Duck Insider continues talking women's hoops on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is an important message from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Mining fatalities, accidents, and injuries are preventable. Taking a minute to approach your task safely can protect you and your fellow miners from injury and death. Staying alert and focused can keep you safe. Do it safe. Do it right. Whether buckling a seatbelt or securing equipment, these quick safety measures can prevent injuries and fatalities. Take time. Save lives. For more resources, visit MSHA.gov.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Women's basketball in action tonight. The Ducks with a 5:30 pregame show. Terry Johns and Bev Smith, and then Oregon women's basketball in action against Rice in round 2 of the WNIT. Congratulations are in order first for assistant coach Sadie Edwards. She has been named to the Women's Basketball Coaches Association 30 under 30 coaches list. Congratulations to Coach Edwards. Well, her and the Ducks, domination against North Dakota State on Friday. Tina Pow from 3 was just lights out. The run that she has been on from threes is from 3, I should say, has just been unbelievable. She was 6 of 7 from 3 in the game, scored a team high and game high 24 points. And you got to love the fact that India Rogers got a triple-double. 10 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. That's cool to see. And as we've all been talking about, that's a Sabrina. India Rogers got a Sabrina. I actually think she got a Sab. That just sounds better. Let's go with that. Yeah. The Sab is the stat. Yep. Rice tonight at 6 o'clock. Kelly Graves was pretty darn happy post-game, wasn't he?
Weeks, just how'd you feel like you guys, came back after the layoff and just given all the circumstances?
Yeah, I thought we played great. I thought we really set the tone defensively. We were good tonight defensively. Forced them into some turnovers. we're able to get out in transition, especially in that second quarter, and then it just kind of kept flowing. But we had a lot of players play really well tonight. It was good to see. I mean, Tahina's continued her great play, and then triple double. That's pretty cool. India was on her game tonight. Obviously the 11 assists, but as a team we had 26, and that's what I'm really happy to see. We played more like the kind of team we want to be.
As hot as Tahina was, to have a couple-week layoff and then come back and maintain it is impressive. India starts tonight with like 3 turnovers, so kind of in both cases it was almost a little surprising to see the way things finished, because given the circumstances, they could have kind of succumbed to some adversity there.
Yeah, and North Dakota State's a really good team. I saw them a bunch of times on film coming in, and I thought tonight we made them look, certainly not as good as they really are. But again, credit the entire defense. And it was great to see Pau Pau continue, her role. That's what she's been doing. And we're just a different team when the ball's moving, when the ball's not sticking. We get everybody involved, and we're making shots. We obviously shot it really well tonight, so that makes a big difference.
And I think that's what they're going to need against Rice tonight. When the Ducks are moving the ball well, good things tend to happen for Oregon women's basketball. Terry Johns, Bev Smith with more on that note during their 5:30 pregame show. Your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill as we finish up the show today. A lot going on around Oregon athletics, more than we can get to in 1 hour today. That's why we've got the whole week for you. Oregon baseball lost on Friday 7-1. Then on Saturday, Gavin Grant highlighted an Oregon season-high 17-hit attack. An 8th-inning grand slam from the veteran in Gavin Grant led the Ducks to a 14-8 win. And then Oregon got down 7-1 after 1 in the rubber match on Sunday. Josiah Cromwick had a 4-hit, 4 RBI performance, kind of led the comeback. Ducks won 13-7, the series-clinching win over Washington State. And Matt Dallas was excellent for the Ducks. In a few bullpen outings, the Pac-12 Conference Pitcher of the Week, Matt Dallas. That says something. Ducks gave up a lot of runs, and they never gave up. The offense started to click a little bit on the Palouse. Let's hope that continues here for the Ducks moving forward. Oregon softball, just a hyper-competitive game. Lost to Stanford 3-1. In extra innings on Friday. A hyper-competitive game on Saturday. The Ducks beat number 7 Stanford 2-1. Morgan Scott and Allie Bunker both outstanding. And, ended a 21-game win streak for Stanford. Well done, Ducks. And then on Sunday, Oregon struck first, but Stanford rallied to win the rubber match 3-2. So close! Coach Lombardi will be with us tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Track and field with an eye on securing a regional standard. Oregon Distance Crew took center stage at the Oregon Preview at Hayward Field. Full review on GoDucks.com. Beach volleyball in action this weekend. A couple splits. Oregon women's lacrosse did lose 2 this weekend. Could have won at least one of them. I think they're going to be thinking about that. And then women's tennis. Beat Colorado 4-0 and beat Utah 4-2. There's your weekend. Women's basketball tonight. See you at MKA.
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us.
We go through safety training and try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part